I buried my identical twin sister in a pauper's grave because my parents convinced me it was my fault she drowned. But that was nothing compared to the day I discovered they'd resurrected her ghost online, using my stolen photos to beg strangers for pity money as little Adeline, the brave kid fighting a made-up brain tumor. They'd raked in $168,000 from bleeding heart donors across the Bible Belt, all while gaslighting me into therapy sessions where shrinks labeled me the unhinged one for imagining family conspiracies. And the kicker? When I showed up at our old Kentucky farmhouse with printouts of the scam, Mom just smiled that saccharine Southern smile and said, "Honey, that's not revenge. It's just us surviving." You always were the dramatic twin. The rain hammered the tin roof of the Greyhound bus like God's own judgment, each drop a reminder that I'd been running from this hellhole for 7 years. Paducah, Kentucky, birthplace of ghosts and grudges, loomed outside the fogged window, its neon-lit strip malls blurring into the kind of Americana that chews you up and spits out the bones. I clutched the backpack, strapped tighter, feeling the weight of the laptop inside, loaded with screenshots that could burn it all down. Adeline Harper, age 28, returning home not as the prodigal daughter, but as the avenging specter. My sister Eliza would have laughed at the melodrama, back when her laugh still echoed through our cramped trailer like wind chimes in a tornado. It started in that sweltering summer of 18, the kind where the Ohio River swells like a drunk uncle at a family reunion, lazy and lethal. Eliza and I were inseparable, mirror images down to the freckles dusting our noses like cinnamon on apple pie, both with Mom's dishwater blonde hair and Dad's stubborn jaw. We were the Harper twins, the ones who'd clawed their way through high school on scholarships and side hustles, dreaming of Nashville lights while slinging burgers at the Dairy Queen. But dreams have a way of drowning in the Harper gene pool. That July 4th, the whole town was lit up with fireworks and Boone's Farm wine, the air thick with charcoal smoke and the faint rot of the river. Dad had fired up the grill behind the trailer park, hollering about freedom while Mom fussed over potato salad laced with Miracle Whip, her idea of haute cuisine. Eliza and I snuck off to the riverbank, bottles of cheap vodka in hand, giggling about boys and escape plans. "We're getting out. Addie," she slurred, her eyes sparkling like the sparklers popping overhead. "You and me against the world." No more trailer trash tags. The current caught her first, a sneaky undertow that yanked her under like a bad bet at the track. I dove in after, screaming her name until my throat burned, but the river doesn't give back what it takes. Not without a fight. They found her body 2 days later, tangled in weeds downstream, her sundress bloated like a discarded flag. The coroner called it accidental drowning, but the whispers started immediately. Those Harper girls were wild. Probably drunk. Reckless. Dad broke first, his Budweiser-fueled rages turning the trailer into a war zone. "You let her go. Adeline, you were supposed to watch her," he'd bellow, his meaty fists slamming the Formica table until the salt shaker danced. Mom, ever the peacemaker with her passive-aggressive sighs, would murmur, "It's nobody's fault,
Jim."
But Addie's strong. "She'll carry this."
Carry it.
Like it was a purse, not a lead weight, sinking me into the mud. They pinned it on me, the guilt, the blame, the cover-up.
See.
Eliza wasn't just my twin, she was the golden one. The straight-A charmer who volunteered at the church soup kitchen and flirted her way into free college apps. I was the shadow, the one with the attitude and the detention slips. So when the sheriff came sniffing around about underage drinking, Dad confessed to a brawl at the VFW, said he'd slugged some vet over a card game. And that's why Eliza was out late. covering for him. Family sticks together, he growled at me one night, his breath sour with whiskey. You take the heat, or we all go down. I did. Lied to the cops about spiking the punch myself. Took the juvenile diversion program like a badge of shame. Community service at the animal shelter, where I mucked stalls and swallowed sobs over Eliza's empty bunk bed. They buried her in a plot at Oak Grove Cemetery. A chipped headstone reading, Eliza May Harper, beloved daughter, 1997 to 2018, no flowers, no eulogy, just a quick graveside prayer and a potluck where folks patted my back and said, chin up,
Girl.
time heals. Time didn't heal. It festered. I bolted for Louisville right after graduation, crashing on a cousin's couch and waitressing at a dive bar called the Rusty Chain. Nights blurred into shifts of pouring PBR for truckers and dodging handsy regulars, all while Eliza's ghost whispered in my ear, fight back,
Addie. Don't let them rewrite you.
I scraped together community college credits in graphic design, built a freelance gig tweaking logos for small-town realtors. It was survival, not living, until the algorithm served me that Facebook ad last month. Help little Adeline fight her brain tumor. Every dollar counts. The photo hit like a sucker punch. My face, aged down with some filter, eyes wide and pleading under a bald cap, propped against hospital pillows. The story? A plucky Kentucky girl battling glioblastoma, her devoted family begging for scans and chemo funds. Shares from Paducah prayer chains, donations from as far as California housewives. $168,342 raised, with a goal of $200,000. And the kicker, the fundraiser page run by the Harper Family Hope Fund, with Mom's email and Dad's blurry selfie in the updates. I clicked through, heart jackhammering. Post after post, little Addie drew this today. Proof miracles happen. Attached. A crayon scribble that looked suspiciously like one I'd done in 3rd grade. Update: Addie's seizures are under control. Thanks to you. With a photo of her in a wheelchair, face blurred just enough to dodge scrutiny, but not enough to fool me. It was Eliza's old chair from when she sprained her ankle in Pee-wee soccer. And the hands propping the blanket? Mom's gnarled knuckles. Rings and all. I drove through the night from Louisville, the laptop burning a hole in my passenger seat. 10 hours of Waffle House coffee and classic rock anthems, Springsteen wailing about highways and ghosts, until the Paducah welcome sign mocked me with its Friendly City slogan. The trailer park hadn't changed, sagging chain-link fences, rusted swing sets, the faint hum of AC units straining against the humidity. Our old double-wide sat at the end, vinyl siding peeling like old skin, a faded Harper mailbox stuffed with junk mail. Mom answered the door in her housecoat, hair in rollers, smelling of Aqua Net and regret. Adeline? Lord.
Girl.
You could have called. Her eyes flicked over me, thinner, tattooed now with a river wave curling up my forearm, before widening at the printouts in my fist. What's all this? I shoved them at her. Little Adeline? Really? Mom? You digitized the dead and slapped my face on it for crowdfunding cash. She scanned the top sheet, then sighed that long-suffering sigh. The one that said, here we go with the hysterics. Sit down. Honey. It's not what you think. Dad lumbered in from the kitchen, wiping grease from his hands on a dish rag, still fixing lawnmowers for beer money. I guessed. His face hardened when he saw me. Trouble follow you home. Girl? Trouble. I laughed, bitter as black coffee. You mean the felony fraud you're both neck deep in? Using Eliza's memory, my face, to scam strangers? That's not trouble. That's a goddamn RICO case. Mom waved a hand. Dismissive. We needed the money.
Addie.
After you left, the bills piled up. Your daddy's back went out, and the church wasn't enough. This was just a story to help folks feel good. A story. I paced the linoleum, boots tracking mud. You faked a kid's cancer. With my photos from high school yearbooks, doctored in some app. And the updates? Those miracle drawings are scans of Eliza's old art projects. You think that's helping? Dad snorted, cracking a Miller High Life. Pot calling the kettle.
Huh.
You were quick to lie for the family back then. Took the fall for my bar fight like a trooper. This is the same survival. My stomach twisted. That lie had cost me probation, a juvie record that tanked my first job apps, therapy mandates where I spilled my guts about Eliza's death until I half believed their version, that I was the screw-up who let her slip away. Survival doesn't mean identity theft. Or calling your own daughter delusional when she calls you out. Mom's eyes softened, crocodile tears welling. We had to, baby. After the first donations rolled in, the questions came. Why no hospital pics? So we said you were, little Addie were camera shy. And when folks pushed, we told them the truth about you. Truth. Ice water in my veins. That you're unstable. Seeing things that ain't there. Like Eliza's ghost or whatever nonsense you texted about last Christmas. She touched my arm, voice syrupy. We love you, Addie. But this is us building something. A fresh start. Fresh start. The words hung like smoke from Dad's cigarette, choking the room. I'd come for answers. Maybe even forgiveness if they groveled hard enough. But this was betrayal layered on betrayal. A family Ponzi scheme built on my stolen innocence. As the rain picked up outside, drumming a funeral march, I felt the old river current pulling me under again. But this time, I wouldn't drown. I'd drag them with me. That night, I crashed on the sagging couch, feigning sleep while they whispered in the kitchen, plans to talk her down, maybe slip something in my coffee to make me rest. Dawn broke gray and grudging, and I slipped out before the coffee perked, laptop under arm, headed for the county library. Free Wi-Fi, anonymous VPN, tools of the trade for a girl who'd learned to ghost the grid. First stop, the GoFundMe backend. I'd reverse-engineered enough freelance gigs to know the cracks. Phishing emails disguised as donor thanks. Spoofed IPs to trace the payouts. By noon, I had bank statements, deposits to Mom's old PNC account, withdrawals for a down payment on a double-wide upgrade 2 lots over. For little Addie's recovery, the memo read, "Recovery my ass, they bought a hot tub and a new F-150. The rage boiled slow, like bourbon in a slow cooker, but it built. Next, I hit the dark web forums, the ones where ex-cops trade tips on white-collar stings. Family fraud, I typed. Need quiet pressure points. Responses flooded in, dox the donors. Leaked to the local news vulture at the Paducah Sun. But that was too clean. Too quick. No. This needed teeth slow, gnawing doubt that ate at their empire from the inside. I started small, anonymous posts on the fundraiser's Facebook group. Heard the Harpers are scamming again. Check their trailer. Smells like fresh paint and lies. Screenshots of the truck van, tied to the fund. Then, emails to top donors. Your money bought a family vacation, not chemo. Proof attached. By evening, the shares ticked up, confusion rippling through the prayer chains. Mom's phone blew up during dinner. Fried bologna sandwiches on Wonder Bread. "It's her," Dad muttered, glaring across the table. "Stirring shit like always." Mom forced a smile, passing the ketchup. "Adeline's just hurt. We'll fix it. Family first, right?" I met her eyes, fork midway to my mouth. "Family first. That's why I'm staying. Until the truth floats up like Eliza did." The silence stretched, taut as a bowstring. Outside, thunder grumbled, and I wondered if lightning would strike first, or if I'd have to summon it myself. The next week blurred into a siege. Our trailer a powder keg with 3 fuses sizzling. Mom played the martyr, baking lemon squares for the busybody neighbors who'd started sniffing around after my posts went viral in the county Facebook groups. Poor dears. Dealing with online trolls, she'd coo to Mrs. Jenkins from the laundromat, who eyed me like I'd hexed her spin cycle. Dad retreated to his garage shrine of rusted engines, nursing hangovers and muttering about ungrateful blood.
Me?
I was the ghost in the machine, holed up in my old bedroom, now a shrine to little Adeline with printed donor cards thumbtacked to the walls, hacking away at their digital house of cards. I'd always been the tech-savvy twin, Eliza the Heart. While she charmed teachers with her dimpled grins, I devoured library books on coding and Photoshop, dreaming of Silicon Valley escapes.
Now,
that skill set was my Excalibur. By day 3, I'd cloned the Hope Fund page on a mirror site, seeding it with leaked docs, forged IRS letters about unpaid taxes, blurry pics of Mom at the casino in Evansville, chips stacked high. "Where's the money really going?" the caption asked. Donations stalled at $169,000. Donors demanding video proof of little Addie's progress. Mom cornered me in the hallway that afternoon, her housegoat askew, eyes red-rimmed from what I suspected were more than prayers. "This has to stop. Adeline. You're ruining us for what? A dead sister's grudge." I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed over the river tattoo that itched like a fresh scar. "Grudge? You mean the one you planted when you made me confess to your screw-ups? Or the fresh one, resurrecting Eliza as your meal ticket?" She flinched, but her jaw set, Dad's jaw, unyielding as limestone. "Eliza would have wanted this. Helping the family.
you?
Your poison. Always have been. Taking her spot. Her spotlight." The words landed like buckshot, scattering old wounds. After the funeral, they'd cleared out her closet, but left echoes, her perfume on the curtains, her laugh in the floorboards. I'd wake screaming from nightmares of the river, only to find Mom in my doorway, whispering, "Hush now. It's your fault. Own it." Therapy followed, courtesy of the court's largesse, sessions with Dr.
Hargrove.
A soft-spoken Yankee transplant who prescribed Zoloft and grief journals. I filled pages with rage, but they read them back to me as delusional ideation, feeding the narrative that I was cracking under the guilt. "You're the one who looks like her," Mom pressed, voice dropping to that confessional hush. "We couldn't use my face, too old. Too known. Yours was perfect. Innocent." The donors ate it up. Innocent. The irony curdled my gut. I'd lost jobs over that record. Boyfriends who bailed when I got too intense about family secrets. Last boyfriend, Jake from the bar, called it quits after I confessed the drowning lie over whiskey shots. "Babe, that's heavy. Maybe lay off the ghosts." He ghosted me instead. I shoved past her, grabbing my keys. "Keep telling yourself that. But the truth's got a current.
Mom.
It pulls everything under. The library became my war room. Fluorescent hummed the soundtrack to my unraveling. I linked up with an online fixer named Raven, handle from some Baltimore hacker collective, who coached me through escalating the leaks. Go biblical, she typed in our encrypted chat. Eye for an eye, but make M blind first.
We doxed the payout accounts.
Tipping off a freelance journalist at the Louisville Courier-Journal. By Friday, the first article dropped. Kentucky Family's Miracle Fund under scrutiny. Is little Adeline a hoax? The trailer erupted. Dad hurled his remote at the TV during the evening news teaser, shattering the screen in a spray of plastic. Goddamn media vultures. This is your doing, girl. He lunged, but I sidestepped, grabbing a cast-iron skillet from the counter like a shield. Back off, Jim, Mom snapped, surprising us both with the edge in her voice. She's family. He wheeled on her, face purple. Family? That one's been bleeding us dry since the river, confessing to my fights. Sure, but then she runs, leaves us rotting. This scam? It was your idea?
Karen.
Use the girl's face, you said. She won't know. The room spun. Her idea. Not a desperate duo act, but Mom's solo scheme. Dad, the reluctant wheelman. She'd always been the architect, manipulating church ladies for casseroles, guilting relatives into loans. Eliza's death? She'd spun it into sympathy points at the salon, quaffing hair while dabbing tears. Now this. You bitch, I whispered, skillet lowering. You used me twice. Once to cover your tracks, now to cash in on the corpse. Mom's facade cracked, lips trembling. I did it for us. After Eliza. The emptiness. The bills. You left.
Addie.
Abandoned us. I had to fill the void. With fraud. Dad barked a laugh.
Bitter.
Knew it was wrong. But the checks cleared. Felt good. Pretending she was back. The admission hung. Toxic as trailer park exhaust. They weren't monsters, just hollowed-out Americans, chasing the dream one lie at a time. The kind who'd vote for hope and change candidates, then blame the system when the fridge stayed empty. I could have walked then, let the feds sort it. But the river whispered, deeper. That night, alliances shifted like sandbars. Dad cornered me in the garage, offering a lukewarm bush. Look,
kid.
Your ma's unhinged. Always was. The scam? She roped me in after Bender. Said it'd honor Eliza, keep her spirit alive. I signed off.
But now.
Help me bury it quiet. We turn her in, split the heat. Betrayals echo. Now he flipped, scheming against his own wife. Why me? I asked, sipping the beer to hide the tremor. 'Cause you look like the dead one. Cops'll believe you were coerced.
Plus.
You're smart. Street smart.
His eyes.
Bloodshot. Held a plea, the first real one since the funeral. I nodded slow, mind racing. Play him. Use the rift. What's in it for me? Forgiveness. And half the leftover cash, say, $50K. Enough to start over.
No Harpers.
The devil's bargain. Tempting, like Eve's apple dipped in bourbon. But revenge isn't a transaction, it's a tide. Deal. I lied. Clinking cans. As he rambled escape plans, her to a psych ward, him to Florida RV parks, I texted Raven. Escalation time. Need dirt on the old man, too. Saturday brought the storm, literal and lit. Torrents turned the park roads to rivers, stranding us in the double-wide with takeout pizza and unspoken knives.
Mom.
Sensing the shift, turned syrup to venom. Jim's playing you.
Addie.
Always does. Remember the river? He pushed me to blame you, said it'd toughen you up. Dad's face drained. Lies. I protected you both. The argument exploded. Plates flying. Accusations ricocheting like .22 rounds. I watched from the sidelines, stoking the fire with well-timed barbs. He told me about the casino.
Mom.
Your girl's night that bankrupted the funeral fund. To Dad, she admitted the face swap. Said you were too spineless to say no. By midnight, they were at each other's throats. Mom clawing for the phone to call her sister, the family snitch, while Dad barricaded the door with a couch. I slipped to the bedroom, firing off the final salvo, a mass email blast to donors. Attaching audio clips I'd secretly recorded, Mom's confession, Dad's flip. The Harper's House of Lies. Hear it straight from the source. The inbox pinged immediately, retractions. Rage. A lawyer's CC threatening suits. But the real bomb? A reply from an anonymous donor. Knew it smelled off. Check this, your folks did it before. 2012. Sick puppy fund for a dog that never existed. Raised $20K. History's loop. Not their first rodeo. The void wasn't just Eliza, it was a pattern. A family trade passed down like Mom's recipe for congealed salad. As lightning forked the sky, I realized the revenge wasn't mine alone. It was the river's, pulling us all under in its inexorable churn. Dawn crept in, soggy and accusatory. Dad was gone, slipped out in the truck at 3 a.m., bound for who knows where. Mom sat at the kitchen table, head in hands, the GoFundMe app open on her phone. Frozen donations mocking her. What now? Adeline, you happy? We got nothing left. I poured coffee. Black as sin. Nothing? You got truth. And me sticking around to collect. Her laugh was hollow, echoing Eliza's ghost. Collect? You're as broken as us.
Girl.
This won't fix the river. No, it wouldn't. But it would dam it for a while. The feds rolled in on Monday, black SUVs splashing through the mud like sharks scenting blood. Special Agent Ruiz, a no-nonsense Latina from the Louisville field office with the FBI windbreaker and eyes like polished obsidian, knocked while Mom was mid-prayer over her rosary, fake piety for the neighbors peeking through blinds. Mrs. Harper, we need to talk about the Hope Fund. Her partner, a lanky kid named Ellis, flashed badges and a warrant for the laptops. I watched from the kitchen window, nursing a mug of Folgers that tasted like regret. This was the escalation I'd craved, but seeing it play out twisted something deep, vindication laced with vertigo. Mom's face crumpled as they cuffed her wrists, gentle but firm, reading rights in that flat Midwestern drawl. You have the right to remain silent. She shot me a look over her shoulder. Not hate, but a weary see what you've done? The trailer park buzzed, phones out. Whispers of white trash welfare queens slithering through the chain link. Ruiz stayed behind, flipping through my laptop. Evidence I'd compiled like a scrapbook of sins, timelines, IP traces, donor affidavits. MS. Harper? Adeline? Walk me through it. Her voice was calm, probing, the kind that coaxes confessions from stone. I spilled it all, river to resurrection, omitting Dad's flip for leverage. She nodded, jotting notes on a pad that smelled like fresh leather. This is solid. Wire fraud, identity theft, federal time. But your role? Complicated. You profited.
No.
Lie number. I'd lost count. Just revenge. She arched a brow. Revenge is a motive, not a defense. But cooperation? That's currency. A card slid across the table. Her direct line. Call if daddy surfaces. We know about the casino skim too. 2012 Pooch Fund. Pattern.
Pattern.
The word echoed as the SUVs peeled out. Mom and back. Rosary beads clicking like handcuff chains. The park emptied. Folks scattering to gossip mills. Leaving me alone with the hum of the fridge and the ghost of lemon squares gone stale. I texted Raven. Cleanup crew inbound. What's next? Her reply pinged. Twist it. Make 'em eat their own. Attached, a dossier on dad DUI stops. A 15 assault charge pled down, bar fight I'd covered. And a kicker, a paternity test from a clinic in Owensboro. Dated post Eliza's death. Not yours, the summary read. Dad had doubted the twins' bloodline. Suspected mom's high school beau. The river lie? Maybe not just cover, it was deflection from a deeper fracture. I drove to Oak Grove that afternoon. Weeds choking Eliza's stone. Wildflowers nodding like forgotten mourners. Kneeling in the damp grass. I traced her name, the chisel marks blurring under my thumb. They used us both.
Cease.
Me as bait. You as bait and switch. But I'm ending it. A crow cawed overhead. Black as vendetta. And I snapped a twig for luck or a wand. Dad washed up 2 days later. Stinking of bus stations and bourbon. Pounding on the door at 2 a.m. Let me in. Addie. Pigs are circling. I cracked it. Shotgun. Borrowed from the garage. Propped casual against the jam. Kentucky hospitality with teeth. Inside, I said. Voice steady as the river at low tide. He stumbled past. Collapsing on the couch. Eyes darting like a cornered coon. Your ma sang like Sinatra.
Threw you under for the face swap.
Said you greenlit the posts to sabotage her. Classic flip.
Mom.
From jail via collect call that morning. Your daddy started it all. Baby. The river push, metaphorically. Blamed you to hide his wandering. Now him. Finger pointing back. I let him ramble. Recording on my phone. The device warm in my pocket like a live coal. She's lying, he wheezed. Cracking a warm Coors from the 6-pack he'd smuggled. Always the victim. But you get it. Blood's blood. Help me vanish. Florida.
Like we said. Parasatka's yours.
The paternity printout burned in my back pocket. Blood? Funny you mention. This says Eliza, and I might not be yours. Mom's side hustle from 96. His face slackened. Then twisted rage. Relief. A toxic cocktail. That bullshit test. She faked it to control me. But Eliza. She was mine. Felt it. Tears tracked grease on his cheeks. And for a heartbeat, I saw the man who'd taught us to fish, baiting hooks with quiet stories of his mill days. Prove it, I said soft, sliding the printout across. Or I hand you to Ruiz with the rest. He scanned it, crumpling the paper with a roar. That witch used it to guilt me into the scams. Your daughters need you.
Jim.
All lies. The flip complete. Now united against Mom. But eyeing me wary. What do you want? Girl? Absolution. Justice. I leaned in, voice dropping.
Confess.
The river cover. The funds. The doubts. On record. Then you're free, my word. He searched my face, Eliza's face, and nodded slow. For her.
Yeah.
The confession poured out. Slurred but damning. Admissions of enabling the fraud. The bar lies. Even a whispered, I pushed the blame, 'cause I couldn't face losing her. Click, saved to the cloud. But as he signed the affidavit I'd printed, witnessed by my own hand, the door rattled. Ruiz again. Tipped by Raven's anonymous ping. Mr. Harper, step out. Please. Dad's eyes bulged. Betrayal dawning. You set me up? Family sticks, I echoed, holstering the phone. You taught me that. They hauled him off, cursing blue streaks. The trailer emptying like a bad dream's fade. Alone. I cracked a beer of my own, toasting the silence. Victory tasted flat, though like Miller Lite on a diet. The news cycle churned. Twins' tragedy turns to treachery. Harper family implodes. Donors sued for refunds. The Sun ran my photo, sanitized. No tattoos. Painting me, the whistleblower saint. Therapy offers rolled in. Book deals dangled. But the calls from Mom's cell block? Venomous voicemails. You destroyed us. Adeline.
For what?
A sister's corpse. The river. I wanted to scream. For the current that took her. The lies that drowned me. Instead, I blocked the number, packed the backpack, and hit the road again, Louisville bound. Freelance gigs waiting. Raven messaged, clean exit, or one more twist.
Twist.
The word itched. On the interstate, Springsteen crooning Thunder Road, I pulled over at a rest stop, firing up the laptop. One last hack, rerouting the frozen funds, $169K, to a legit charity. Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. Memo, for real little addies. From the ghost. Poetic.
Polarizing.
Donors would cheer. Families seethe. But as the upload bar crept to 100%, a donor email pinged, not rage.
But thanks.
Saw your story. My girl had the tumor for real. Lost her last year.
This.
Closure. Godspeed. Closure. The word mocked as I merged back onto I-65, the Ohio glittering below like fool's gold. Paducah shrank in the rear view. But ghosts don't fade, they hitch rides. Weeks later, in my cramped Louisville apartment, peeling wallpaper, a window AC wheezing like Dad's lungs, a package arrived. No return address, postmarked from the women's pen. Inside, Mom's rosary, beads chipped, and a note in her loopy script. You think you won? Check the attic. Eliza's real secret. The beads clattered to the floor. Heart hammering. Attic? Back home. The one we'd never climbed as kids. Dad's decree? Rats up there. I booked a red-eye bus. The river calling again. The trailer stood condemned now. Yellow tape fluttering like surrender flags. I slipped under. Flashlight beam cutting dust motes thick as smoke. Up the pull-down stairs. Splintery and protesting. Into the crawlspace oven, cobwebs veiling boxes of junk, Eliza's yearbooks. Dad's porn mags yellowed with age. Then, the trunk locked. But pics from Raven's kit made quick work. Inside, letters. Bundled with rubber bands. Postmarked Nashville. 2017. Eliza's handwriting. Looping and urgent. Addie, if you find this, Don't hate me. I faked the drowning. Ran with the church fund money, $5K for bus tickets. A new life. Mom knew. Helped stage it. Said you'd take the blame. Be the strong one.
I'm sorry.
Alive in Music City. Find me. The world tilted. Flashlight clattering.
Faked.
All of it. The river. The guilt. The ghost fund to resurrect a runaway scam artist. Mom's final flip. Not confession. But grenade. And me, the dupe. Avenging a lie. Rage surged. Hot as July asphalt. But laughter bubbled too, hysterical. Unhinged. The Harpers. Masters of the con. Even in defeat. I pocketed a letter. The address smudged but legible. A dive bar off Broadway. Nashville. Eliza. The Greyhound to Nashville reeked of stale fries and desperation. The kind that clings like cigarette tar to your soul. 6 hours of pothole jolts and snoring seatmates. My mind a whirlwind of what-ifs and why the hells. Eliza alive? Scheming south. Strumming a guitar in some honky-donk while I mucked stalls and swallowed lies? The letters burned in my lap. Creased from rereads, tales of a waitressing gig under Lila May, hookups with session musicians. A vague cancer scare that inspired Mom's fund. She promised it'd be temporary, one read. Blame you to keep the heat off. I fought it.
Addie.
But family. Family. The word soured now. A punch bowl spiked with arsenic. Mom's jailhouse note? Her parting shot. Twisting the knife post-mortem, post-scam.
Dad.
Rotting in county lockup. Probably cursing my name between appeals.
And me?
Adeline the Avenger. Played for the ultimate fool. Music City hit like a neon fever dream. Broadway's crawl of bachelorette hordes in sashes. Pedal taverns belching country anthems into the humid night. The address led to the Bluebird Cafe. Not the dive I pictured, but a songwriter's mecca tucked in a strip mall, intimate stage. Walls papered with sharpest scrawled lyrics. I slipped in during open mic, nursing a sweet tea that sweated like my palms. Scanning the crowd. Faces blurred, tattooed dreamers, silver-haired retirees, but then, there, a woman in the corner booth. Blonde waves cascading. Fingers plucking an acoustic like it owed her rent. Eliza. Older. Harder around the eyes. But her freckles faded. Laugh lines etched from real living. She spotted me mid-chord. Guitar twanging discord. The room spun. Applause fading to white noise as she rose. Slow. A deer in headlights or a con spotting the mark. Addie. Whisper harsh. Like wind through river reeds. We collided in the aisle. Hug or grapple. I couldn't tell, her smelling of patchouli and PBR. Not the river, Rod I'd imagined. Alive, I managed, pulling back to search her face. Mirror to mine, but alive. You faked it. Left me to drown in the blame. Her eyes green as the Ohio in spring, filled, spilling over. I had to. Mom's plan. She hated sharing us. Wanted one golden girl, not two. Said if I bolted, you'd be the hero, take the fall, come out stronger. The fund? Her way of making it up to you. Using your face to keep me hidden. Bullshit cascaded. Polished as a demo track. Making it up? By scamming strangers? Calling me crazy. She deflated. Gesturing to a back table. Away from the mixed glow.
Seat.
Please. The story unspooled over stale pretzels and her half-finished IPA, Mom's manipulations predating the river, stealing Eliza's college fund for Dad's debts, gaslighting her into the fake drowning as escape. I took the $5,000 from the youth group bake sale. Ironic.
Huh?
Mom staged the body with a mannequin from the drama club, weighted it down.
You dove in like a champ.
I watched from the bridge, hating myself.
Watched.
The word gutted me, raw as a hook through the lip. And the letters? Why hide?
Fear.
Of you hating me. Of them finding me. She traced a scar on her hand. Bar fight. She said, some drunk picker. I've been running gigs. Scraping by. When the fun news hit, I called Mom. She laughed, said you'd burn it all down.
Let her, she said.
Blood's thicker than truth. Thicker. The lie that bound us. I slammed the table, drawing stares. Blood? You left me to therapy, to Dad's fists, to a life of delusional twin. I avenged you, leaked.
Hacked. Turn them in.
For nothing. Her hand covered mine.
Tentative.
Not nothing. You survived. That's strength. Come with me, start over. Nashville's got room for ghosts. The offer dangled, seductive as a stage light. Sisters reunited. Harmonies on Broadway. Flipping the script on the Harpers. But the river whispered caution, currents lie, pull you under sweet. And the money, the donors, Mom and Dad, rot while we play house. She winced. I sent what I could back, anonymous.
But yeah.
It's messy. Controversial.
Who's right?
Mom was a monster, but she birthed us. Dad enabled. I ran. You fought. No heroes. No heroes. The truth landed. Polarizing as a Trump rally in a blue state, cheers and jeers in equal measure. I thought of Ruiz's card. The feds circling for loose ends. Of the charity wire. My poetic justice now tainted. Walk away. Let Eliza fade again. Or dive back in. Drag her to Paducah for a family reunion in chains? Midnight struck. The cafe emptying to echoes. Eliza strummed a chord, our lullaby from childhood. Rockabye River. The notes hooked me.
Familiarace.
One song, I said. Then decide. We took the stage. Twins in tandem, her lead, my harmony, pouring out a raw ballad of drownings and digital resurrections. The crowd hushed, then erupted, tips raining like confetti forgiveness. In the green room after, buzzed on adrenaline and her contraband joint, she grinned, that old dimple.
See?
We could tour this. The Harper Hoke sisters. Controversy sells. I laughed. Genuine. The first in years. But as we hugged goodbye, my bus at dawn. Her next gig, she slipped a USB drive in my pocket. Backups. All the letters. Plus Mom's real journal. Read it. Then choose. The journal. Digitized. Pages of Mom's scrawl. A confessional abyss. Not villainy, but void, abused by her own Milltown ma. Marrying Dad to escape, only to birth replacements in us. Eliza's fake death, her twisted gift. Freeing, one while binding the other. Adeline's the anchor, she wrote. Strong enough for the weight. Eliza flies, Addie grounds.
Grounds.
The word stuck as the bus rumbled north. Nashville's glow fading. Back in Louisville. I pored over it. The city lights mocking through my window. Call the cops on Eliza? Co-conspirator in fraud. Expose her? Shatter the reunion dream? Or join the con? Sisters against the world. Touring our trauma for TikTok fame. Raising real funds on the ashes. The twist nod. No clean win. Mom and dad, jailed but unbroken, would spin it as persecution by the Golden Girls. Donors divided, some hailing my leaks as heroism, others decrying the family takedown as cruel. And me, Adeline Harper, no longer delusional, but damned if I did, drowned if I didn't. Dawn broke over the Ohio, steel gray and unyielding. I texted Ruiz, one more lead, on Eliza. Then deleted it, unsent. Instead, I booked a ticket south permanent. Nashville waited. Stage set for Act 2. Revenge, not as destruction, but duet. Controversial? Hell yes. Happy? In the American way, messy, melodic, maybe a little mad. The river flows on, carrying all our secrets. But this time, I'd swim with the current, not against. Sisters or sinners, we'd make waves.